Hey everybody, it's Rob. Welcome back to the channel. Let's see, this video is going to be number 15 in the Take a Look at the Book series. The last one of these I did, number 14, episode 14 of this, was for the RIFTS Adventure Guide. And you can go back and watch it. It's absolutely phenomenal. Not necessarily the video, but the book itself. I really love the book and all the stuff in it. It's got tons and tons of great information. It should have been partly called a Game Master's Guide. Over half the book is full of really great essays by great writers on game mastering, on building adventures, on controlling the table, the size of the party, naming things. And yes, it has over 150 adventure ideas in it, but it also has tons of charts and tables on building communities, mercenary companies, organizations, all kinds of stuff. It's just a great, great book. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the RIFTS Game Master Guide, the actual Game Master Guide, which I feel is very easily a compendium that should go along with the Adventure Guide. If you have it, you should have both of them. And probably the Book of Magic too, but that'll be a later video. Before we get started, if you enjoy these videos, the reviews, the looks at the books, unboxings, listening to me ramble for a while, whatever it is, please subscribe, hit the notification button, and give us a thumbs up, because that's how we get these videos to circulate. Also, if you'd like to interact with us more on a personal level or send messages, you can find us at Rob's Game Group on Facebook. Rob's Game Group is all one word. So, taking a look at the book, what do we have with the Game Master Guide? Original retail on this is $26.95, and this bad boy weighs in at 352 pages. It's a biggin. But what all is in it? Well, I can sit here and go page by page, but I'm just going to hit some highlights. It's got some neat stuff in it. It's got the RIFTS lexicon in the beginning, where, you know, it's got basically the name or term, and then a definition of what it is. Borg, bot, burbs, bursters, creatures of magic, DBs, I'm skipping around, juicers, ley lines, mega damage, PA or post-apocalypse, player characters, rifts, supernatural beings. It's got a lot in here. And then it goes into a designer's notes section where Kevin tells his story about how RIFTS came about, which a lot of us have heard before, but if you haven't, it's a good read. And it touches on some of the things that the Adventure Guide touched on, like how many players should be in a typical group, RPG campaign is a continuing epic, returning villains, tricks of running large groups. And then it has a section on game mechanics. Talks about why there's an experience point system, when to use them as rewards, other game elements as rewards, NPCs being a valuable tool, your updated physical charts. And let's see. Supernatural strength chart, augmented humans, mutants and cyborgs, attributes beyond 30. A lot of this is just cleaned up stuff. SDC and combat rules, new range combat rules, gun teams, weapon modifiers, hand-to-hand combat, where we see a lot of different hand-to-hand styles in here. All of the skills across the Palladium books, for the RIFTS books that, you know, at the time of this printing had been put out, all collected under one roof to make that a little more accessible. And they did the same thing with weapons, psionic powers, And you still get the great illustrations for all the guns and everything. They did the same thing with, let's see, body armor. Well, they did regular equipment, and then they collected all of the different body armors, power armors, vehicles, ground vehicles, robot vehicles. I mean, there's just a ton of it here. But all of this stuff is collected from the different RIFTS books, and it's all under one canopy now to make it easier to find. Because when you have as many RIFTS books out as they have, it can make it kind of complicated to dig through tons and tons of books looking for a specific gun or a specific vehicle. And he even admits that they wrote it, and they still find it frustrating to find stuff like that sometimes. So collecting everything up in one was a great idea. You have the character compendium, which is kind of nice. It starts out with the men-at-arms. Now obviously they could not print a book that had every character OCC fully statted out in here. So instead, this collects them all in alphabetical order and tells you what book and what page they're on in that book to make them easier to find. But you have all the men-at-arms A through Z, scholars and adventurers A through Z, practitioners of magic A through Z. And let's see, who else do we have? Racial character classes. Again, A through Z. God, there's so many of them. Psychic character classes A through Z. Man. Then you have experience charts for every character in the game. Up to the printing of this book, obviously. But it's just page after page of experience charts. There's so many of them. And then we come into another section on running the game. And a lot of this is similar to some of the stuff we saw in the adventure guide. Just not quite as big. The adventure guide really delves into all of it a lot deeper. That's why I say that the two of these books really do go hand in hand. This is more of the, hey, we collected everything here so you could find it, or at least use this to know where it is. And the adventure guide is a collection of essays on opinions and ideas on how to run and build adventures, along with a group of adventure ideas themselves. And you have some of that in here too. So I really do think the two books, they marry up quite well. They go hand in hand. And then the last section of the book is about 20 pages of maps. And it breaks down tons of, RIFTS Earth, the Americas, RIFTS Canada. It breaks down the Dominion of Man, Stalker activity. It shows you on all these maps where everything is. The 6 powers, breaks them down. Zatikic's territory and surrounding areas. Just so much great information in here. This is a very, I think this and the adventure guide together are indispensable. Like if you're going to run RIFTS, especially Palladium RIFTS, as opposed to Savage Worlds RIFTS, then the adventure guide and the game master guide specifically are things that you need to have, because it puts all the information of the game pretty much at your fingertips. We can also look at the back of the book, which, they advertise Chaos Earth and the Book of Magic on here. The only thing they didn't collect in here, obviously, is the Book of Magic, because it was just too big. It needed to be its own book. And though I do think the adventure guide really does go hand in hand with this, it would have been nice to see it as one book. It would have been over 500 pages. So it makes sense that it's actually 2 books. The RIFTS Game Master Guide. Ultimate RIFTS Reference and Source Book. All skills listed and described. Combat rules and examples of play. The weapons of RIFTS Earth plus data on Eclipse, credits, and more. Power armor and body armor. vehicles and general equipment, comprehensive index of OCCs, RCCs, and PCCs and monsters, experience tables for all character classes, designer notes and rules clarifications, game master tips and hints for running rifts, maps, adventure ideas, and reference material galore. 352 pages. Rifts, endless possibilities, limited only by one's imagination. So yeah, that is the stuff that comes in the Rifts Game Master Guide. And some, if I can get the glare off of it, like always, you know how I am about art. I love their beautiful art on there. So, not a super long video today. There's not a lot of content to just sit and talk about because a lot of this is just, collected weapons, collected power armor, collected character classes. I told you what sections are in here. So if you have a ton of rift books and you're going to be running rifts, this is really good to have to be able to quick reference what book you need to look in for stuff, or if it's skills, weapons, power armor, stuff like all that's completely reprinted in here from across the Rifts line. So yeah, I say this is a definite must-have if you're running rifts, and it's absolutely a great book that goes hand in hand with the adventure guide. Not sure what book I'm doing on Look at the Book next. If there's something in particular you guys want to see from the Palladium line or from another line, that's fine too. You feel free to leave it in the comments, or you can message me on Facebook. Just join up with Rob's Game Group on Facebook, and you can message it to me on there, and I will see if it's a book that I can take a look at. Like I said, short video this week. Just that's about all I've got to say about it. Until next week, good gaming and good luck.